After fighting 6'6" heavyweight Anthony Joshua is a challenge, Jake Paul gets his jaw broken. And I have the update. Do you want to know the status of Jake Paul's jaw after that unfortunate blow that he just received? In this video, that is what I'm going to go over. I have the thoughts of a doctor, not necessarily Jake Paul's doctor, but a doctor in that field nonetheless. And he kind of gives his opinion on recovery time. When can you expect Jake Paul to come back, based on the opinions of a medical professional. Without further ado, we're going to jump into it. Roll the clip.
All right, guys, update on Jake Paul's jaw. This is Dr. Dari Hamra, oral maxillofacial and facial cosmetic surgeon in Washington, D.C. A lot of you have told me he didn't break his jaw. Yes, Anthony Joshua broke his jaw. But look what he had. He had surgery. He wasn't wired shut, probably because all these crowns, his teeth are crowned. That's why they're lighting up bright in the CT scan, because they're all crowns. So if you wire someone shut, you will destroy all those crowns. That's why they chose also to put mini plates and screws. The problem is they put small mini plates and screws. If you wanted to put big mini plates and screws, you would have to cut through the skin under the lower jaw. That would give him a scar, harder recovery. This was all done through inside the mouth. Hence the tiny mini plates and screws. The problem is, since he has tiny screws and tiny plates, he was not wired shut. He won't be able to chew, and it's a little bit risky. So he's definitely going to be on liquid diet. Is he going to lose weight? Most likely. You be on liquid diet, you can't eat anything you want. Yes, you can make sure you have enough protein in your diet, enough fats in your diet, but also coupled with the fact that you can't work out 4 to 6 weeks poses a problem. So when can you fight again? A lot of you ask me that question. I would say at least recovery is going to take at least 9 to 12 months. So I wouldn't recommend him fighting for at least 9 to 12 months. All right, guys,
Wow.
update on Jake Paul's.
So, according to this doctor, again, this is not Jake Paul's doctor directly, but a doctor. He's assessing the x-ray. He's like, the kid going to be on a liquid diet, which in turn, kind of conventional wisdom, you're going to lose weight, only being able to eat liquids for a period of time, eat through a straw, right? So you'll probably lose weight based on that, combined with the fact that you can't work out, you can't take blows to the face, you can't spar, you can't do your normal shindig based on this broken jaw. So liquid diet, can't eat right, you just got to monitor your protein through liquids, I guess, and you won't be able to work out. And he's estimating that the recovery time would be 9 months to a year. Wow. And the other part that was interesting to me is he was like, they put in small plates so they didn't have to cut open underneath, which would leave a permanent scar, right? To assess it and attack the problem from underneath, right? So they didn't want to leave a scar, and I guess they wanted the least intrusive way. So they went and did it all through the mouth, which required smaller screws and titanium plates or whatever. But you just kind of common sense again, if you do it, I guess with bigger plates, it'll probably secure it more. Or if you actually wire someone's jaw shut, I think that's more heavy duty. So in the end, that would probably get you back up and running better with less problems, as opposed to like anybody. I've built stuff like, you buy a table, you buy a chair, and like sometimes when you go on the cheap end and you go to like IKEA or somewhere, or get a table off of Amazon, and they got these little tiny screws, common sense, those little tiny screws are not going to be as heavy duty as a more serious build, right? You get these little tables from like China or Taiwan or something like that, and the little parts are cheesy. I used to work at a hardware store multiple times. So Anybody who knows their tools, you know what I'm talking about. I could tell by the build and like when I get the package of screws and screwdriver if it's heavy duty. So I can only imagine screwing down somebody's jaw or whatever with smaller units and titanium plating is not going to be as secure as like wiring someone's mouth. Like Kanye West, when he got in that car crash, I believe he had his whole jaw wired shut, henceforth the song Through the Wire, right? So that will probably get you back up and running. But Jake Paul's young, made a lot of money. He might not want a permanent scar in his face, and this is how they chose to attack it. But nevertheless, this is what it is. And he's talking about recovery time is at least 9 months. So the length of time it takes for a woman to have an average pregnancy to a year. Dumb fight. Dumb fight. If it did all this, this is a dumb fight. Making money is cool. Yes, everybody needs to make money. Money is a tool, but there's multiple ways to make money. And it's funny because the big wigs at Netflix, you think they're going through broken jaw surgery? Absolutely not. They're not getting their jaw broke. They're in control of the money and the spread of the money. So since they have so much, they're willing to put a former YouTuber Disney star and, proposition him with this fight that he really shouldn't have taken. If you watch my post-fight breakdown, he had no chance in the fight. There was nothing, like he was doing nothing. He was taking desperation swings and running around and falling about and stumbling the whole time, right? The whole time. That's how the whole fight looked. And it's funny because the Jake Paul fans and stans, they want people to like marvel at this. Like, I'm not doing it. You said you would knock out Joshua. You failed. You're all about affirmations and goal setting and stuff. So if that was your goal, you failed. I do not provide participation trophies. I never have. Certain things are what they are, cut and dry. You're a real boxer. You've been boxing. You took an opportunity and you came up mad short. Falling around, falling to your knees. You needed knee pads in the fight, right? And it's just what it is. People want us as fans to like give Jake Paul some special grading. The performance sucked. It was horrible, right? From a boxing stance. Terrence Crawford just fought someone at age 37, about to be 38. The month he was turning 38, he fought someone who was bigger, who had been fighting, had more fights than him, and had been fighting in higher weight classes, and the fight didn't look like that. So if anything, this kind of hurt the Jake Paul experience because I think people thought he was further along and coming along and bridging the gap better to becoming a regular boxer. But now the Joshua looked like he held back. The first punch, meaningful punch he threw, he breaks your jaw. You don't play boxing. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like this hurt Jake Paul more than people are confessing to, because you wouldn't have made this type of money maybe fight someone else, but you could have kept building your brand, spending money, but this is almost like a shortcut. Let me do something daredevil and crazy or whatever and get a lot of money up front, but now I have potentially permanent damage, which people warned you about beforehand. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. We'll see. Maybe he has this miraculous recovery and his jaw is amazing despite having it broken in two places. But from my experience, and again, I'm not a doctor, but my experience, when you go through these things, you don't become better, or if you crack a foundation, the foundation typically doesn't become much stronger and better than before the occurrence or the incident. Like, if you don't go through a car crash, your body is your body. You just take care of it. But if you do go through a car crash, whose body is better in all facets after the car crash, right? Like, their back is stronger than ever. Their legs are stronger than ever. Their jaw, they don't have soreness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it typically don't. Look at Errol Spence. Does anybody out there believe that Errol Spence was a stronger fighter post car crash or pre car crash? So anytime you go through blunt force trauma and breaks and bone fractures and this type of punishing, grueling recovery that is being outlined by this doctor, typically it's not good. So even if you fight at cruiserweight, there's some pretty big punchers at cruiserweight, like Jai Opataya. You're going to fight Jai Opataya and your jaw was just broken in 2 places, right? Sometimes athletes, and I'm just cut and dry. I don't do the participation trophies. I don't sugarcoat it. Sometimes athletes, they have a meniscus tear, ACL, whatever. It usually ain't better. I'm not saying that some people can't recover. Like Kobe Bryant is as extreme an athlete, but after he hurt his leg, it wasn't better. Like, he still was able to play, but it still wasn't more formidable than Kobe out of high school when his body was 100%. This is common sense, especially as you age and get older. So for me, Jake Paul made money. And it's weird because you have the fans of Jake Paul now justify, oh, he tried, he showed heart. Who wouldn't try for $50 to $90 million or whatever he got? There's a lot of people that would try some foolishness. It's like the show Jackass with Johnny Knoxville. He was fighting Mickey Ward, the sledgehammer, letting him punch him in the stomach, letting Butterbean punch him. So, yeah, they were doing that. They were getting views. They were getting money. They were doing a whole bunch of stuff on the show that most people wouldn't do, but they were getting paid for it. So I don't reward that. I don't glorify that. Like, oh, you're so special. You're so brave. People sign up for war, sign up to the military to go to war because they need the money. You know what I mean? They don't have nothing going with their life, so they enlist. So Jake Paul is not doing something special by being a celebrity who doesn't need to box, but chose this path. And then now, because you get your jaw broken, lose, I gotta use the kid gloves. I'm giving him a boxing assessment that I would give if Terrence Crawford fought Canelo and got his jaw broke. I would be saying the same thing. It don't matter. You know what I mean? You're a boxer. This is what you chose. This is not for the faint of heart. And now the road to recovery is pretty extensive. Let me know what you think of this timeline. Jake Paul losing teeth, getting his jaw wired shut, out for a year, presumably. All bad. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.